Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over the Copenhagen-based singer called Mew and her third album called Motordrome. I think I got into her like everybody else did with the song Lean On with Major Lazer. I really like the song, and I think I've heard something before. It's like a little bit after it, which was I want to say no. So then I got into Forever Neverland, and I really love that one. That one came out 2018, and I think that solidified my fandom of her. I did go backwards and listen to No Mythology to Follow, what came out in 2014, but I didn't for either. I wasn't in the right mindset of it to really like it, or maybe I just didn't really like it. But I since follow Forever New Neverland. I pretty much liked a lot of her songs since. Like, she came out with a song in 2019 called Final Song, which I listened to like a lot of times during that time. And just kind of kept track of her since then. And I saw that she released New Moon, Live to Survive, and then there was another one, Brad Pitt. And so I knew those things were coming out, and I listened to those, and I liked Live to Survive. I thought Brad Pitt was okay, off the first listen, but New Moon completely solidified me into, okay, I'm really excited for this album. I love the cover album's really cool with her like red eyes with the kind of a blue background with a green tent in front of it. I think that was really cool. So this album's about nostalgia. Now, I don't know if that's her direction of saying it's nostalgia, or it's like the critics saying it feels like it's about nostalgia. But for me, I feel like it's about a couple of things. I think it's about getting past certain things that are getting past your struggles and coming out on the other side, kind of thing, and kind of feeling all the things that you're going through, but also not letting it completely like pull you down. So you get kind of like, I think the only way to kind of describe it is to kind of go through each song and then kind of blend it all together. So you have songs like the first song, which is Kindness, which is kind of talking about her needing love and kindness for from her fans, and kind of just having that builds her up and makes her feel better, especially in dark times that she's in. Having that communication, that connection with those people really helps. Going into Live to Survive, I really like this one. It kind of reminds me, it keeps up with that kind of synthy pop that's going on around right now. It feels like we always get a different type of synth pop in each decade of pop. It feels like we got the Lady Gaga synth pop back in the 2010s, and then now we're getting this kind of like, I want to say it's very inspired by the Weekend kind of pop or synth pop kind of thing, where it's a darker 80s synth kind of sound, which is I really like. I feel like with the atmosphere of this album, it really works that way. This one talks about just kind of making it through a heartbreak, or heartache, as she said. Just kind of just reminding herself that she pulled herself out of it. So I feel like there is a storyline in this, because then you go into Wheel Spin, where that one talks about kind of missing her ex and her wheel spinning in her head about just thinking about him all the time. And it seems like she might have broken it off, but she still, because she says, yeah, I chose my way, or yeah, I choose my way, but I've forgotten what it was that I was set out to chase. And then she goes later on saying, hope it's not too late to get back into orbit and kiss your face. So it seems like there's an opportunity that they might get back together or something like that. But yeah, so it's just those two songs make me feel like there's a storyline happening. Because then you go into Cool to Cry and Youth is Lost. I feel like those kind of have like pull away from the relationship narrative and kind of goes back into the talking to the fans, because we got Kindness that's saying you guys are the things that are the people that keeps me going, and I really love the kindness that spread around us. And then it goes into Cool to Cry, which talks about the beauty of vulnerability and saying to her fans, like, it's okay to cry, it's okay to express your feelings. She says, holding it in, I don't know why. You keep your feelings on the inside. I think it's cool to cry. Um, and so I feel like it's a nice nod to everybody else. It's very universal, and I feel like it stays universal with Youth is Lost, where it talks about kind of living your life to the fullest, and also looking back at youth and knowing that you're not in that space anymore. But it doesn't matter because you're still living. You can still. It's never too late to live your full life, even if you are 50, 40, 30, 60, 70, 80. Like, it's still space. You're never too old to have fun, to live up your life. But unfortunately, that song I felt was kind of boring lyrically, or not lyrically, actually a little bit lyrically, but also the atmosphere of the production was kind of boring to me. New Moon, which is one of my favorite songs off this album, has that great kind of pulling you back into that synthy. I was going to say, I wonder if there's a play into the production where it's just like, if it's about the relationship, it gets very synthy pop. And it's about just the fans and a universal message. It gets more kind of less synthy pop, more upbeat kind of sound. But anyway, because Newman goes right back into the dark, deep synthy pop, and this one talks about kind of moving past the toxic relationship. So she lived to survive. She's thinking about him, but then this part is like her just saying like, I do remember all the bad shit, so now I'm completely moved past it, or trying to move past it. And then we go back and then I think she goes back into kind of falling. Now that she moved past it, she's now thinking about it, kind of reminiscing. Because it goes into Brad Pitt, where it talks about, like, looking back on their love. And it doesn't say looking back, but I feel like in the order where it goes, it's kind of looking back in that direction of how much they used to be in love. And to the point where she's like, I'm your Juliet, you're my Brad Pitt, call me, or sing me a song, baby, it's a hit. I'll keep spinning around for you. That song I really, really like. I didn't like it in the beginning. I didn't like the single at first. I was like, okay, but it fits really well with this album. I think because sonically it fits really well. So then I think, okay, now it makes sense, kind of thing. Goosebumps. It's the first ballad off of this album, and it also looks back on this nostalgic, beautiful love story. But also looking at an idea of she's telling not only herself but the ex to kind of rise up and still kind of live your best life, go out there and be you no matter what, kind of thing. And it's very beautiful, kind of like, I want us both to win no matter, even if we're not together. I still have that, I'm still rooting for you, kind of thing. And rooting for myself as well. But she thinks about the idea of their love too, and to this day she still gets she gets goosebumps just thinking about him. I love the ballad. I love the sound of the piano. I think it's a really, really good break from the synthy sound, and I just really like it. It was a perfect space to put a ballad in. Hit Bones is the next song. I kind of like it. I think the song's about more, maybe we're further back again, where we're thinking about the space where they on the brink of breaking apart, because she says, she's like, I treat the ones I love with a rough hand. I don't know why. Maybe it's just to test your will. You got jaded. I started fading. Crazy how the time flies, or time flew. So it seems like it got to us as looking back at the way that things fell apart now, and looking at the thing, just saying that she was very kind of pushing a lot of buttons to see how far he could take. And obviously that turned him jaded, because he's like, why are you pushing buttons? We don't need to push buttons. If I'm here, kind of thing. And it seems like that kind of put a rift, because then him being jaded made her feel made her feel very like, oof, you don't really love me, or something like that. So she faded, he jaded, and it just completely fell apart. There's a great guitar solo in this song, but I think in this song, in the end of it, what she's saying is that she's like, because it says, you say, love, where do we go from here? I say, I don't know, just hold me close to your hip bones. So it seems like she's like, I don't know, but right now, let's just like be close. And then finally go into Punches, which is the last song I really, really like. This one talks about retribution. This one pretty much talks about looking at all the things that she talked about and putting it together, saying like, this is me learning to go to roll with the punches. Pretty much, she's learning how to not dwell on the past struggles that she went through, but to kind of treat every day like a new day and a new challenge kind of thing. And she says, I will say, she says roll the punches a lot in this song. I don't know why it bothers me, but I feel like it's maybe because I'm so used to people not repeating a saying, but kind of mixing it with a different way of saying it. And then going back and saying rolling with the punches. So I feel like sometimes she kind of repeats that. She says that instead of maybe saying something else that's like similar to it, but it's not. It's a very, very tiny like critique, because the song is really good and I love the message of it. And um, yeah, it's just a really good job, a good idea of looking back at all the things that you talked about and saying like, I survived all of that things, even though all those things happened, I survived, and I'm learning to kind of take these things step by step, day by day kind of thing, and that's how I know that I will survive through these things, no matter what comes at me kind of thing. Yeah, I really like this. I give it a 7 out of 10 because I do feel like it did have a bumpy start to, for me, and I also feel like some songs didn't really like the production. I felt like the production kind of felt less than Forever Neverland. Forever Neverland has so much great production and great just consistency. Where I felt like this one kind of like, I felt like it really didn't really pick up entirely until New Moon. I definitely feel like after that it really got really well. It really got really good, and then, but aside from that, like Live Till Survive is a really good one too. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you like this album, let me know. If you have a favorite song on it, let me know too. If you have a different perspective of how you feel about it, let me know that. And what else? Oh, if you also like this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell too, so you can get more of my videos. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.